All right, Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach Qudash. I'd like to say double honors to my teachers, the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone, the men whom I've learned this truth from. And I'd also like to say Shalom and salutations to the elect that's out there preaching this word in truth and in sincerity. I'm the brother Shaquat, one of the brothers from the branch of Great Millstone, Montreal. I'm back with another lesson. And the style of this lesson is going to be a walk and talk, and Lord willing, as always, is edifying to the elect. All right, so this is pretty much going to be an impromptu, just flowing in the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Shai with no foundation of a topic. So pretty much what I wanted to start into is, let me start with this right here with a precept to get the spirit flowing. This is John 15, and I'm going to start out verse 1. It says, I am the true vine, and my father is the husbandman, right? The vine is Yahweh Shai, right? And the heavenly father, Yahweh, is the husbandman, right? Verse 2, every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. And every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit, right? So it's important to produce, right? Because that's what the fruit symbolizes, right? Production, you producing, yielding works, right? What comes to mind too is the fig tree. The fig tree that Yahweh Shai, when he was hungered, when he came to, and it basically didn't have any fruit for him, and so Yahweh Shai cursed that fig tree, and that's not what we want to be like. We don't want to be like the cursed fig tree that Yahweh Shai cursed. We want to yield fruit, man, and how you yield fruit is by always, being in the spirit, man. That's the only way, being attached to Yahweh Shai, right? Being plugged in, for lack of better words, because you need energy, right? You need energy in the spirit to put out to put out works. And how you charge up is by studying, watching videos, praying, being plugged in, for lack of better words, man, being plugged in, right? That's why it's so important to be plugged in, right? Or else you're not gonna have enough energy or spiritual, a spiritual charge to do the work yourself, right? And I'm talking to myself first and foremost, man. It says, verse 3, now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you, right? We're clean through this word, through the words of Yahweh Shai, man. These scriptures are what makes us clean, right? And these scriptures are actually what allowed, each and every man of the Lord that's in the truth right now, that's sincere, is actually what made them transform. Your mind was transformed through this truth, man. And that's so heavy. For me personally, I that's so heavy. The fact that your mindset and outlook on things could be changed and altered to a whole nother level, man. Because that's what these scriptures do. Right? It's literally, to put a picture on it, is literally you being unplugged from the matrix. Right? Literally, and seeing the whole picture of everything. Right? Because you might have some people that become quote unquote woke, or they reinvent themselves in the world, but they don't come full circle. Right? But that's given to the men of the Lord and the truth, man. You get to come full circle. You get to transform and actually, become whole once again. And that's done through the words of Yahweh Bashim Shai, right? And it's another precept is Psalms 119 that speaks about a young man, how a young man can cleanse his ways, and it's through the words of Yahweh Bashim Shai, man. So this is so heavy. It's to me, that's why it's so heavy. I can't even put an expression to it, but it's heavy. The fact that your mind could be transformed on that level, right? And once again, that's only through the mercy of Yahweh Shai, man. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, because not everybody is granted this sort of transformation, you know, right? For example, you have even amongst other Israelite camps, they didn't come full circle, you know, because they came short. You know, like for example, some camps, they don't teach particular things. They you know, they omit particular things, and that's not coming full circle, man. You know, so just going on. It says, now you're clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Verse 4, abide in me and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself except it abide in the vine. Right, no more can ye except ye abide in me. Right, so there's no way that you could bear fruit of your own. Right, you have to abide in Yahweh Shai to be able to bear fruit. So I'm just gonna look up that word abide to see what it gives me in the regular Google definition. And this is the New Oxford American Dictionary. It says abide by, accept, or act in accordance with a rule, decision, or recommendation. To be able to tolerate something. Abide. Matter of fact, let me see what it says in the blue letter, because it might be better. John 15. In the Greek is meno, to remain, abide, in reference to place, to sojourn, tarry, to not depart, to continue to be present, to be held, kept continually, to continue to be in, not to perish, to last, endure, of persons to survive, live. Let's see some of the Strongs. To stay in a given place, state. Yeah, right. So stay in the truth, or stay amongst the men of the Lord, right? And in our case, Salaki for the spit, but you know, in our case would be our teachers, the men whom Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai set up, the apostles and bishops of Great Millstone, the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Abide amongst that congregation, abide amongst the Lord's men, and that's you abiding in Yahweh Shai, right? You being plugged in, right? Because that's how you also get inspiration to produce, to do lessons, by watching the apostles, the bishops, and the elders, and the other brothers, man, and so on and so forth, right? So abiding and being plugged into Yahweh Shai is very important. It says, I'm going to read verse 4 again. It says, abide in me and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine. No more can ye except ye abide in me. Right. I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me ye can do nothing. Right. Without Yahweh Shai, you can't do anything, man. And that's a fact. Because Yahweh Shai is the one that's in control of things. The Heavenly Father gave Yahweh Shai control and power over everything. Right? You know, and that's why Yahweh Shai is to be worshipped. Verse 6. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered. And men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. Right? And that fire will be what? Symbolic to the lake of fire, which is the nuclear destruction. Right? You know? So if you're not plugged in, if you don't abide where Yahweh Shai's spirit is, you know, the ending is gonna be bad. Verse 6. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered, and men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. If ye abide in me, and my words abide in you, the truth, the true words, right? The true doctrine, right? If ye abide in me, and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what you will, and it shall be done unto you. That's right. You know? All right. So yeah, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I'm gonna end it off there. Just a quick lesson, walk and talk. But I hope it was edifying to the elect. Once again, I always want to give all praises, honor, and glory, as always, to the apostle, to Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, Bashim Rachal Kodash, call hello Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rachal Kodash, and double honors to my teachers, the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. And like always, man, shalom to the elect. Shalom and salutation. Until next time.